Hey, Josh here with Scorpius Tactical. Going to do a state of the union, state of the industry, state of the community. What's going on? We're going to talk about what we saw at SHOT Show, what we think is actually interesting, and some of the things to focus on. Touch on some of the ammo issues and things that we see happening, and then an overall idea of what the rest of the year is going to possibly look like. None of us have a crystal ball, but we'll give you what we are seeing right now. So, SHOT Show. Got back from SHOT Show about 2 months ago, and like many have said, there was countless products that were brought to market, countless products that were teased for everybody to see. And the reality is, a lot of those may not come to fruition within 2024. We just saw that Holosun's night vision red dot is finally shipping. That was launched literally a year and 2 months ago, from last year's SHOT Show. So when we see new products hit the market, we have to be cognizant that sometimes these things are to get clicks. They're here to get a notoriety and attention, and we can't take it too seriously. We have to look at the products that are available now, and you have to look at what your setup is now and realize that it may be worth waiting for the product, or is there something else that's actually going to fill that need right then? As far as things that we were really stoked to see on, we got to spend time with G9 Ammo. Got to learn a lot about their ammo and what they are doing there. We're happy to say that we will be bringing them in, and that order should be coming in shortly. But they offer defensive 9mm, 40, 45, and 10mm. They have defensive 5.56, defensive 6.5, 308. And I think that what they bring to the market is something completely different as far as their approach to projectiles and what they are accomplishing through different setups. 9 mils looking like it's 1,500 feet per second. It's an 80 grain projectile, and then it's an external hollow point. The results from it are just absolutely astonishing, and we are hoping to be able to show you guys some more of that once we get that in, and possibly even bring in ballistics gel to actually shoot that and show that. Another brand that I was very excited about that we are bringing into the shop is a company called Godark, and they're a Faraday bag company. This is not a firearms specific product. This is just overall a safety, and it's basically they've got phones and laptop and tablet bags, as well as some dry bags that have Faraday lining in it, so an RF lining that stops and blocks all frequencies for your phones, and just creates that extra net of safety. It technically is EMP protected, and it's something that is very on par with what we are hearing concerns from customers of how to approach these things and how to defend against them. So Godark bags, they'll be bringing those in. Dry fire mag. Got to put my hands on those, and that is an absolutely terrific tool for your dry fire practice. It resets the trigger in your handgun. Mags are specific to your handgun, and we're excited that it allows for you to do more reps with truly your trigger pull without having to reset that trigger manually, which is amazing. And we know that at Scorpius, we believe so much in what dry fire can do for your shooting, especially with the fact that ammo and time and range prices can become a hindrance. And the reality is, with the gear that you have, you can absolutely practice a huge amount of that at home and keep improving upon your performance. So dry fire mag is another one that we saw. Overall, lots of great things from all kinds of different brands. I don't want to get into a lot of them that we can't get in right now, because the reality is we don't know when they'll be. There was tactical lever actions. There was countless other things. If we don't know when they're coming out, baiting people into being so excited about them is kind of a difficulty. I don't think that that's the right thing from our standpoint as the gun shop to be touting that along as like, oh yeah, it's coming, because the reality is, even with Holosun, we looked like fools for a year by saying, hey, they have a night vision and thermal option for a red dot, and here we are, it's just finally shipping. Hopefully should be getting in some soon as well. But with that being said, as far as a state of the union, something to think about for yourself is what is the state of the union of your kit and your setups. One of the greatest firearms you can own is the one that's already in your safe. The firearm that you already have can be augmented, can be improved upon. Even if it was a base level AR that you bought, there's things that you can buy or invest in that will improve your shooting experience, improve the handling of the weapon. And it doesn't mean you have to buy an entirely new platform. Um, when we see people chasing after some new firearm platform, some new gun, the reality is we see them go into safes and they sit there. The reality is if you have a rifle and a handgun or one or the other, that's the best one you can have. And there's always something that you can purchase that would make it a better firearm or more ergonomic or better performance out of it. But the reality is you do not need to buy an entirely new setup just to get those results. As far as kit goes, we got to see a lot of different nylon products. We got to meet with our vendors that we work with. They all have new exciting stuff that's coming out. We will keep everybody up to date of what those are as we know when there's delivery dates. Because again, just saying it's coming, most likely people are going to be either too impatient to wait, or maybe there's something that's already out in the market that actually is an answer to that. So nothing absolutely astonishing from that side, but really all of them are growing, and I think that that's only going to allow for us to offer more products for everybody. Again, once we know that they're going to be here. So as a State of the Union, we're going to look at all the different aspects of the industry. Something that is currently talked about a lot is ammunition. So we see that ammunition prices have gone up. We knew that going into 2024 that there was going to be a 10% increase from countless different brands. What we're also seeing is some shortages. Shortages mainly in the powder section. Now, if we go back 2 years ago during the Ukraine crisis, they talked about fertilizer shortages because how many fertilizers come out of the Eastern European area and what this conflict is going to do to that supply chain. Interestingly enough, fertilizers share sodium nitrate with gunpowder. I don't know that, I have not heard anybody speak to this and say that yes, that's the connection, but I think it's interesting that we were already warned that there was going to be a shortage, yet now here comes a shortage of gunpowder, maybe not necessarily the fertilizer side, but obviously we don't track that as close. So yes, our reloaders are seeing that gunpowder is hard to find, hard to get to, and hard to pricing is really difficult. So the ammo that we're seeing is definitely elevated in price, limited stock availability, and so what we've typically been able to stock is not as readily available. We're working through some different supply chain options to be able to provide more, but we really don't want to bring stuff in that is just so inflated as far as pricing. When you look at your ammo in what you have in stock for yourself, a balance of defensive and a balance of plinking is going to be key. Obviously, plinking is what we go through more, or our training ammo, our range ammo. That's what we go through more. But defensive ammo, bringing it all the way back to G9, I think we're going to be offering some better defensive options to round out defensive ammos throughout all of your platforms, which I think will be a welcomed new product for all of us. Now, what does the rest of the year look like? Historically, in the firearms market, election years are always wild. I don't think that this year is any different. We obviously are only into February, coming into March, and the reality is it seems like it's going to be a wild year. If there ends up being any sort of increase in volume of demand for firearms in this year, I'm not sure what inventories are going to look like. We have some different vendors that we're working with that are having some difficulties fulfilling all these orders. And so we're already looking for other options to bring those in, specifically in the AR side, AR and the pistol caliber carbine side. So like the AR9s, EPC9s, getting those fulfilled is going to be a main focus of ours as we see that more people are wanting to add a PCC to their collection than what they have. So the year is going to be wild. The year is going to be interesting. We are trying to stay abreast of it as much as we possibly can, but that's where you come into play as well. Information that you have shared with your local gun shop is huge. If there's something that you know about or hear about, i.e., a product that maybe they weren't big enough to be at SHOT Show, or something going on in supply chain, it's good because at the end of the day, our job is to be your pit crew. We are here to know the platforms as best we can and know what products to bring in, ideally with what you're looking for as well. We are rounding out a lot of what we bring in just to make sure that we're hitting those marks. But it comes from communication. So to create and round out this community, feel like you can have a voice here at Scorpius to tell us like what you're looking for, as well as any assistance in either finding that product or having to understand more about it. We will never claim that we know everything. We will never think that we have seen it all. The reality is there's countless eyes out there with different accounts being followed through social media and different newsletters and forums. And so I think collectively, if we work together, there's so much opportunity for us to really round out what products we offer to meet the needs that you have. And so, with a wild year coming in front of us, I think that it's going to be really interesting. We have countless different legal battles that are going on. There's things going on in California federally, and I won't speak to all of those because I'm just not well versed enough to be on the law or legal side. But it's going to be really interesting to see what comes out in 2024. And I do feel as though we're always on the cusp of some sort of run or increased demand out of nowhere. I think everybody's been in that feeling for a very long time, or at least for the last 4 years. So, as far as the State of the Union goes, we are pretty much status quo. There's nothing that came out that you have to have. There's nothing that came out that's going to make you a better shooter. It's you and the products you have to support what you feel are your needs. And we want to be here to help you navigate all that. Ideally, we will have some background to understand what products might fit your needs more, but the reality is your communication to us is going to help us shape what you would need or something that we can learn about from you. So that is the State of the Union for Scorpius Tactical. That's the State of the Union for the gun industry from how we see it, and we are excited for the rest of 2024. Thank you so much.